Sometimes I self-sabotage. I hold myself back and I make my situation worse than it has to be. I put myself in a bad mood, in a low state of energy, and I often wonder why. Why do I do that? Why do I put myself in that position? It's actually how I'm feeling right now. And I got to a bit of an answer already by just talking. I talked to myself and I got there, and I'm going to share that with you in just a little bit, just to show you that process of what I went through, at least out loud. I sometimes self-sabotage so that I could be sure about something happening. I could be sure that even if the habit or the pattern that I'm about to do is going to hurt me, I know how it'll hurt me. I know how it'll affect me. I know how I will feel in the moment of doing whatever it is that I've done. And I got there, I started doing these things, or I start to do these things. As soon as my body pushes past this threshold of, I guess I'll call it stress or change or disruption. One of the strongest ways that this happens to me is when my routine gets thrown out of whack. Say I go out one night, spend time with friends, I'm having a good time, but that leads me to stay up way later than I usually do. And then the next day, I sleep in a bit more. And because I sleep in, because my top priority is sleep, pushes back my morning routine to a way that, instead of me getting to the gym early afternoon, or should I say before noon, I'll get there afternoon. And then that pushes back my plans later. And it's just this kind of chain reaction where, as I'm saying it out loud, most people may think, dude, just go. Just pick up where you left off. Go to the gym, make that meal, whatever. But what I found from experience for me is in my mind, in my body, I viscerally feel that change. It's heavy and it takes a lot of energy, a lot of activation energy to do the thing, to get back on track. And sometimes what needs to happen for me is I have to go through such a loop that it feels so bad that I brute force my way back into the routine that I was following. I'm in that tail end now where, I'm about to brute force it today and tomorrow, or should I say tonight and tomorrow. But before I move on, check out how we got here. I'm tired and I'm feeling a bit dejected. Why? I didn't get what I normally get done, and I think my body's just catching up, looking for routine, for rhythm, for certainty, for understanding, for awareness, for clarity, for good feeling. Routine. I didn't do my routine. What was that? Self-sabotage. And I don't. Come on, feel it. Stream of consciousness, just go. Feeling tired, feeling sad. Why am I feeling tired and sad? Being thrown for a loop. I'm catching up from not doing what I normally do, getting done when I normally get done. Why is that? Why am I catching up? Sometimes I get in my own way. Sometimes I get in my own way. Sometimes I get in my own way. I self-sabotage and I do things that aren't in my best interest. Not my future best interest, not my current best interest, and yet I do them anyways. And I don't understand why. I don't understand how it keeps happening, but it happens. And what I can do to best help myself is extending how much time in between those moments it happens. Because it's impossible for me to never do something again, but I could change how much time passes in between. Am I just making that up? What if I'm just making that up to hold me back? Why? Why would I do that? Why would I make something up to hold myself back? What do I get out of it? What could I possibly achieve? Safety? Certainty? Following a routine gives me certainty, gives me assuredness. It lets me know for sure. When I don't follow the routine, it creates uncertainty. So then my body scrambles for whatever certainty I could find, and that often comes in ways that I used to find it, which I know logically don't help me, but in the moment when I'm in that state of fight or flight, I do it. I fight my better judgment in order to feel a certain way, to feel better, to know what's going on. And I think it's a chain reaction. It starts small, these little allowances, but ultimately a big change happens. The full routine is gone. Let's run it. So you just saw how we got there. You just saw how we got to the intro of this video. And it's fascinating to go through this process in my head, to figure this out, to see why I'm in this hole that I'm in, because I think solving any problem first starts with awareness, knowing that there is a problem. Just earlier today, I guess I should say, I was out with friends. I was spending time with them as I do every single Monday, but I was feeling off. I was a bit dissociated. I was staring off into space, and I could just tell my heart wasn't in it. I wasn't in it, right? And I didn't want to be there anymore. I didn't want to feel the way I was feeling anymore, and I knew I just had to go, right? I stayed till the end, but I didn't stay extra like I usually do, and I was like, all right, time to go. It's time to go, time to figure this out. And, got myself a little sweet treat, I'll be honest, because in this state of mind, this state of emotions, I'm looking for that certainty. And what gives me certainty? It's the foods that I enjoy. It's, opening the apps that I know will bring me joy. I do all these different things, these little things, staying up late, maybe playing a little extra video games or anything like that, skipping the gym, because I know that by doing certain things, I'm going to feel a certain way. And when I feel a certain way, it'll make me feel good for just that brief moment. But I know later on, it's going to get worse. Maybe I'm feeling the way I'm feeling because I just feel off track. I feel like I'm taking a step back. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I'm in that 1 step back phase, and I don't like the 1 step back phase, but it happens. I do it. Maybe these days I'm more of a, 10 steps forward, 2 steps back kind of person. My ratios are a bit different. I feel like I'm learning and growing and expanding a lot. That doesn't mean that the moments that I have to stop and lose that momentum and move back, it doesn't mean that those don't affect me. They don't hurt. They don't suck. And I could say I wish things were different, but wishing's not going to do much for me. I have to actually figure out, what could I do to do things differently? What has to happen in order for me to do things differently, feel things differently? Because I don't want the answer to be, oh, don't stay out late with friends anymore, because that's going to ruin you for the next few days. I don't want that to be the answer. I like spending time with my friends. I like our movie nights. So what could I do in order to have that while also not letting it affect me as heavily? That's what I get to play with. That's what I get to figure out. And maybe that's something I could figure out in this moment, but something tells me it's something I have to test out. I have to come up with a potential solution now, see what works, see what doesn't, and then learn from there. That's how I am. That's how I learn. That's how I experience things. I don't accept that there's things that I can't influence or I can't change. Not about me. Yeah, certain things may be harder. Yeah, certain things I miss. Yeah, there's certain things that I notice that other people don't. That just makes me a different person, and that's fine. That just means I have to find a different answer. It's not that there is no answer, it's just a different one. Anywho, I don't fully feel in the state of mind to be able to solve that problem, but I know I'm going to be in a better state of mind tomorrow. I know I'm going to bed, I'm going to enjoy the night, I'm going to figure this out, and I'm going to learn from it. I'm making changes, I'm making progress, and that's what I have to remember. I am doing well, I am moving forward, and sooner rather than later, I'll be on to the next problem, because this one will be solved. I appreciate you being here, and I know this wasn't really one of those here's an answer type videos, but it was one of those here's who I am type videos, because I want you to be here alongside me when I learn and grow. I want you to be able to look back. I want me to be able to look back at my old videos and see my evolution, to see the different types of different type of a person that I was over time. So we're in this real time. Thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you again. And until then, just remember to always fill up with the love, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Make it tomorrow. All right? All right. I love you.